Hey there, I'm back with another project, and in this video I will show you how I made my Carat Bong holder. It's quite easy, although the steps are a bit repetitive, so please bear with me. The entire written pattern is available on my blog. I've included the link to it in the description below, so go and check it out as you follow through this tutorial. For this project, you will need 10-ply comb cotton yarn in pink, white, and blue, or any number 4 yarn in these colors. A 4.5 mm crochet hook, a darning needle, stitch markers, a ribbon, and a pair of scissors. The other materials needed are actually indicated in my blog post. They're mostly stuff you will need for the head of Bongbongie. Once you've got everything you need, we can start! To begin, you're going to take your white yarn and make a magic circle. Once you've made your magic circle, work a single crochet into the ring, like so, and then chain 1. This will be counted as the first double crochet for this round. And then after that, you will just work 11 more double crochets into the ring to finish the round. Here you've got 12 double crochets in total, so just pull this end nicely to tighten the circle in the middle. So you can tug it nice and tight as many times as you want just to secure it. Now you are going to make a slip stitch into the topmost chain 1 that you made earlier. So take both loops of the chain on your hook, just like that, and work a slip stitch. This will close your round. Now just chain 1 so that we can start the next round. And in that same spot where you made a slip stitch, work a single crochet. We are going to place a stitch marker just so we don't get lost. And now in that same chain, we are going to work another single crochet for the increase. And then in the next stitch, we are also going to work 2 single crochets. Basically, for the rest of this round, we will be working 2 single crochets into each stitch. We've got 24 single crochets all around here. And right at this last stitch, we're going to place a stitch marker again, just so you don't get lost. And to close the round, we are going to work a slip stitch into the very first stitch that we made in the round. That's the first single crochet that we made. Just like so, and then chain 1 again so that we can start the next round. Okay. Now, for round 3, we are going to start with a single crochet right where we slip stitched. And we are going to single crochet into every stitch of this round. We're going to be doing that for round 3 up until round 16. So that's a lot of rounds. Again, we are going to single crochet into each stitch for round 3 up to round 16. I'll see you again once I've completed up to round 16. So this is how your project will look so far with up to 16 rounds. I'm just going to take my Carat Bong, and as you can see, it has this increasing size upwards. So just to get that, we have to increase for another round just to accommodate the size of the handle of the light stick. So for round 17, we are going to single crochet once again into that same stitch to start the round. And then make 3 more single crochets into the succeeding stitches. After that, we are going to work an increase into the next stitch. That's 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Again, we are going to work increases with intervals of 4 single crochets for the rest of this round. You've got 4 single crochets and 1 increase. So now we have reached the end of the round. We are going to lock it in with a slip stitch into the first single crochet, and then we're going to start the next round with 1 single crochet. So for round 18 up to 29, we are just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch. Now that we've reached round 29, increase right here, so the handle's getting a bit bigger. We're just going to take out the stitch marker to start the next round, and we will be working into the back loops. So that's where we're going to slip stitch to lock the round, then of course chain 1 again, and in that same back loop just work a single crochet. We are working in the back loops only to capture this space below the dome. So we are going to change the direction of the stitches by working in the back loops only. So now let's place the stitch marker here and then work 2 more single crochets into the next 2 stitches. Like so, and in this next stitch we are going to increase. So we will be increasing with intervals of 3 for this round. Once you're done, we are just going to lock this round as usual with a slip stitch. For the next rounds, we are going to work into both loops of the stitches as normal. For round 31, this current round, we will be increasing with intervals of 4. Then for round 32, the next round, we'll be increasing with intervals of 5. I'll see you back here once I'm done with those 2 rounds. As you can see, we've completed the 2 increase rounds. So now we're going to lock this round with a slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. Like so, chain 1, and just secure it with the first single crochet for the next round. Now, for round 33, we are just going to single crochet into every stitch for the rest of this round. We're not going to increase anything, we're just going to work a single crochet into each stitch for the rest of this round. This round is the end of the part of the holder that will accommodate the base of the dome of the light stick. So now we have to change the direction once again. so that the holder will accommodate the rest of the dome upwards. So we're going to work into the back loops again. We're going to lock this round using the back loop of the next stitch. These are the back loops, these are the front loops. So now we're just going to work a slip stitch into that. Oops, not a single crochet, just a slip stitch, sorry. And then chain one and work a single crochet into that same back loop. For the rest of this round, we are just going to work one single crochet into each back loop. We are done with stitching in the back loops, so for the next 7 or 8 rounds, it's up to you really. There's a very small difference between 7 and 8 rounds. Just work one single crochet into every stitch. You can work up to round 41 or 42. As for me, I'll work up to round 41 only because honestly, I'm running out of yarn for this tutorial. So I'm done with my 7 additional rounds here, and I'm ready to fasten off this part of the holder. So I'll cut a good length for a tail, and instead of locking this part, I'm going to pull through the loops and thread this through the needle. Now to fasten this off seamlessly, just pass your needle through both loops of the first single crochet of the round, like so, and then work that needle through the back loop and the loop below it of the previous stitch, like so. As you can see, it forms this stitch-like appearance. With this, you should have 50 stitches all around. Now you can just weave this through and lock it anywhere you want from behind. I just want to show you how it looks with the Carat Bong. So it looks nice and snug in this holder, as you can see. And we're just going to work on the cover next to properly protect your light stick. For the cover, we're going to start with a magic circle again and work 6 single crochets into the ring. Once you have 6 stitches, you can just pull the tail end nice and tight to close the ring. Now we're going to be working in continuous rounds here, so into the immediate first stitch, just work the increase. Now I'm going to take my stitch marker because I don't want to get lost. So place it into the very first stitch that you made. And then just work increases into each stitch for the rest of the round. Okay, for round 3, we are going to work a single crochet and then an increase. So that's an interval of 1 single crochet in between increases. In fact, for the next 8 rounds, we are going to work up to intervals of 9. By the end of round 11, you should have 66 stitches in total. This is how 11 rounds will look like. So this will serve as the top of the cover of your Lightstick holder. So for the next round, we are just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch for the entire round. Here we have 1 stitch remaining. So right into that stitch, work an incomplete single crochet, drop this yarn, and then take your white yarn and pull it through both loops. From this point on, we are just going to be working with the white yarn. So take your stitch marker off and work the next single crochet with the white yarn. You can stitch over the tail of the white yarn to hide it below the stitches. Let's just cut this pink yarn, and at the back we are going to knot these two together just to secure them. So just work 1 single crochet into each stitch for 2 rounds using the white yarn. Once you're done with the 2 rounds of single crochets using the white yarn, we are going to make the slot for the strap. So it's this part here and here. So there are 2 slots for the strap on opposite sides of the holder. So we're going to make this by chaining 3. We are going to start the round with chain 3 and then skip 3 stitches below and work a single crochet into the 4th stitch. This creates a chain space here. Now place your stitch marker there and work 29 more stitches. After your 30 stitches right here, just chain 3 again, skip 3 stitches below, and then work a single crochet into the 4th stitch, and again 29 stitches for the rest of the round to make 30 single crochets in between each chain space. Back at the start of the round, just work 3 single crochets into that chain space. Those 3 chains are equivalent to 3 stitches anyway. Now we will be working into the back loops for this round. So after the chain 3 space, just work a single crochet into the back loops of the next 30 stitches. On the opposite side, just like earlier, work 3 single crochets into the chain space. And then work a single crochet into each back loop for the rest of the round. After working in the back loops, you're going to work a single crochet into each stitch for 8 rounds. That's round 17 to 24. Your project will look like this so far. So here's your cover, and it's nice and snug over the body of your Lightstick holder. To start the base of the holder, we're going to be working in the back loops only. So single crochet into each stitch for the entire round. As you can see, the direction of the stitches changed. For the next 2 rounds, we are just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch. After 2 rounds of plain single crochets, we are now going to work on the next part of this cover. So just make a slip stitch into the next stitch and chain 3. This will be counted as the first double crochet for this round. And then just work 1 double crochet into every stitch for this round, leaving 1 stitch left towards the end of the round. Don't forget that step. So these double crochets are made to accommodate the string that we will be passing through them later. It will be for the drawstring function of this cover. We're down to 1 stitch, and instead of working a double crochet right here, we will be working a half double crochet. That's because we want to even out these 2 ends so that it will look nice and even. So slip stitch into the topmost chain, like so, to close this round. Now for the next round, just chain 1, and in that same chain where you slip stitched, work a single crochet. And then just work 1 single crochet for the rest of this round, which is also your final round for the cover. Now that you've reached the last stitch, just take your scissors, cut the yarn, and pull it through, as we will be fastening it off the same way as we did with the holder's body earlier. So just pass your needle through the 2 loops of the next stitch, and then go right back to the back loop of where your yarn came from, and the loop below it as well. And you can finally just lock and weave in this end at the back. We can now start with the straps. I have here 4 stitch markers. I placed them opposite to each other with 2 stitches in between. And here we have 21 stitches as well as on the other side. This is where we will be attaching the straps. Now we are going to attach the blue yarn. Start with a slip knot and then take your stitch marker off. You can start anywhere really. So insert your hook where the stitch marker was placed earlier and work a single crochet. And then just work 3 more single crochets into the succeeding stitches until you reach the other stitch marker. Then chain 1 and turn your work. And again 4 single crochets into each stitch of the blue yarn. You will be repeating this process until you're happy with the length of your strap. This is how my strap looks after 128 rows, or that's about 30 inches long. Just cut a long tail. Make sure it's long because we will be using this tail end to sew the strap on the opposite side of the holder. And then just block in the last stitch. This other end will be sewn here. But we'll do that later. So I have the cover with all the appliques and the stitches to make Bongbongie's face. I used this old merch of mine, it's an umbrella from Diamond Edge, to make the face shapes. Now I'm going to take this strap and then I'm going to pass it through this chain space that we made earlier. And then again through the other chain space on the opposite side, just like so. Just pull a good length and we are going to sew this right here. Take your needle and just whip stitch the strap and the holder's body together. You can go over the stitches as many times as you want, just to secure them in place. Connected, this is how the holder should look like. So you're going to pull the cover upwards to accommodate your light stick in the holder. Then you can just pull it downwards again to close the entire holder. Now we need something to close this up really nicely, so I'm going to take my ribbon and just pass it through the double crochets all around. Here's my completed light stick holder with the bow. So you can just use any ribbon that you want, or you can even just make a chain with yarn. It's up to you really. And you're done. For more K-pop inspired projects, check out The Morning Hooker on Instagram. I also have a lot of free patterns on my blog, which is linked in the description below. If you decide to make this project, please tag me to your photos, as I would love to see and share your work. As always, thanks for watching!